Life has a way of knocking us down when we least expect it. There you are, giving it everything you've got, pouring your heart and soul into your dreams, your relationships, your goals. And suddenly it feels like the universe itself is conspiring against. The promotion you worked so hard for goes to someone else. The relationship you cherished falls apart. The business you built with your bare hands starts crumbling. Your health takes an unexpected turn. And in those dark moments, when nothing seems to be going your way, the weight of it all can feel absolutely crushing. I see you. I see that pain, that frustration, that overwhelming sense of why me, burning in your hearts right now. Some of you came here today carrying burdens so heavy they're barely letting you breathe. Others are wearing masks of everything's fine while inside you're screaming for answers. And you know what? That's exactly where transformation begins. You see, when nothing is going your way, it's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your greatest breakthrough. Every single person who has ever achieved anything meaningful has stood exactly where you're standing right now. They felt that same pit in their stomach, that same voice in their head saying, maybe I should just give up. But here's what most people don't understand about these moments of absolute despair. They're not happening to you. They're happening for you. When everything seems to be falling apart, it's actually falling into place in ways your current mindset cannot yet comprehend. Let me share something with you that changed my entire perspective on adversity. Years ago, I was at my lowest point. Everything I had built was crumbling around me. My bank account was empty, my confidence was shattered, and my spirit was broken. I remember sitting on the floor of my empty apartment, bills scattered around me, wondering how I had gotten it all so wrong. But in that moment of complete desperation, I discovered something profound. Our greatest power lies not in never falling, but in our ability to rise just one more time than we fall. You see, success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about, think about this. Every single time you've thought nothing is going my way, you've actually survived it. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still fighting. That alone is proof of your incredible resilience, even if you don't feel resilient right. The problem isn't that things aren't going your way. The problem is that you've been conditioned to believe that things should always go your way. We live in a world that celebrates overnight success stories and instant gratification, but real transformation doesn't work like that. Real growth happens in the valleys, not on the mountaintops. When we're going through difficult times, we often make three critical mistakes. First, we personalize it. We think we're being punished or that we're uniquely unlucky. Second, we permanentize it. We convince ourselves that this feeling will last forever. And third, we paralyze ourselves. We become so overwhelmed by what's not working that we forget about our power to change things. But what if, and this is a big what if these moments when nothing seems to be going your way are actually life's way of redirecting you towards something better? What if every closed door is not an obstacle, but an opportunity to find a better path? I want you to think about water for a moment. When water encounters an obstacle, it doesn't stop flowing. It doesn't give up. It doesn't complain about the unfairness of the rock in its path. Instead, it adapts, it flows around, over, or under the obstacle. It keeps moving forward, finding new paths, creating new channels. And in doing so, it doesn't lose any of its essential nature. It remains water, pure and powerful. And you have that same power within you. When nothing is going your way, you have the same ability to adapt, to flow, to find new paths. But first, you need to understand that your power lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in controlling your response to them. Here's a truth that might be hard to swallow. Sometimes when nothing is going your way, it's because you're heading in the wrong direction. That sometimes life's greatest act of kindness is to stop us in our tracks and force us to reevaluate our... Think about the last time everything seemed to be falling apart in your life. Now, looking back, can you see how that crisis led to growth? How that breakdown led to a breakthrough? How that moment of despair actually became a turning point towards something better? When we're in the middle of chaos, it's nearly impossible to see the order within it. It's like standing too close to a pointillist painting. All we see are scattered dots of color. But when we step back, we begin to see the masterpiece. Your life right now might feel like scattered dots of chaos. But I promise you, there's a masterpiece in the making. You can't wait for things to start going your way before you decide to show up fully in your life. You can't wait for perfect conditions before you start taking action. The time to begin is now, exactly where you are with exactly what you have. Your circumstances don't define you. Your response to them does. When nothing is going your way, you have two choices. You can either be a victim of circumstances or a student of life. Both will shape your future, but only one will empower you to create the future you desire. Let me tell you something that might sound counterintuitive at first. The moments when nothing is going your way are actually your greatest opportunities for growth. These are the moments that separate the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers, the people who give up from the people who step up. You see, we've been conditioned to believe that struggle is something to avoid, that if we're struggling, we must be doing something wrong. But what if I told you that struggle is actually a sign that you're doing something right? That resistance is actually a signal that you're growing. Think about how muscles grow. They don't grow when you're comfortable. They grow when you push against resistance, when you feel the burn, when you're willing to stay with the discomfort just a little bit longer than you did yesterday. Your life works the same way. Your character, your resilience, your capacity for success, they all grow through resistance. But here's where most people get it wrong. They wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They wait to feel ready before they make a move. They wait for conditions to be perfect before they begin. And you know what? That's exactly why nothing ever changes in their lives. The truth is, action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You don't have to feel good to get going. You have to get going to feel good. When nothing is going your way, that's exactly when you need to take action the most. Even if that action is small, even if you don't feel ready, even if you're scared. I want you to understand something profound about those moments when nothing seems to be going your way. They're not random. They're not punishments. They're invitations. Invitations to grow, to evolve, to become more than you are right now. Every single person who has ever achieved anything significant has faced moments of overwhelming adversity. But here's what sets them apart. They understood that adversity isn't a wall, it's a teacher. Every setback carries a lesson. Every failure contains a seed of growth. Every moment of despair holds the potential for transformation, but to access that potential, you need to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of saying, I can't handle this, start saying, what if this is handling me, shaping me, molding me into who I need to become? You see, when nothing is going your way, it's easy to fall into the trap of focusing on what you lack, what's not working, what's missing from your life, but that focus only amplifies your sense of powerlessness. Instead, I want you to start focusing on what you can control, what you can do, what resources you do have, even if they seem small right now. Every morning when you wake up, you have a choice. You can either focus on the darkness or you can become the light. You can either wait for things to get better or you can start making them better. You can either be defined by your circumstances or you can be defined by your response to them. Let me share something powerful with you. Your current situation is not your final destination. It's just a chapter in your story. And like any good story, it needs conflict to become compelling. It needs challenges to create character development. It needs obstacles to make the triumph meaningful. Think about the stories that inspire you most. Are they stories of people who had everything handed to them? Or are they stories of people who faced impossible odds and found a way to overcome them? Are they stories of smooth sailing or stories of navigating when nothing is going your way? You're not just experiencing difficulty. You're being prepared for something greater. Every rejection is protection. Every setback is setup. Every closed door is directing you toward the door that's meant for you. But here's the catch. You have to stay in the game long enough to see how the story ends. You have to keep moving forward even when you can't see the whole path. You have to trust that your struggles are not permanent, but your strength is growing permanent through these struggles. I want you to think about something. Every single time in your life when things weren't going your way, you survived. Not only did you survive, but you learned something, you grew stronger, you became wiser. Even if you didn't realize it at the time, those difficulties were shaping you, preparing you for this moment right now. The question isn't whether you'll face difficulties, you will. The question is, what will you do with them? Will you let them break you, or will you let them make you? Will you use them as excuses to give up, or will you use them as reasons to step up? You see, success isn't about having everything go your way. Success is about continuing to move forward even when nothing is going your way. It's about maintaining your integrity when it would be easier to cut corners. It's about keeping your commitments to yourself when no one would know if you didn't. It's about doing the right thing even when the right thing isn't the easy thing. When nothing is going your way, that's when your true character reveals itself. That's when you discover what you're really made of. That's when you build the strength that will carry you through future challenges. There's something remarkable that happens when you're at your lowest point, when absolutely nothing seems to be going your way. In these moments of complete despair, you discover an incredible truth. You are far stronger than you ever imagined. You have reserves of resilience you never knew existed. You have the capacity to rise from circumstances that once seemed impossible to overcome. But here's what I really want you to understand today. The universe doesn't make mistakes. When nothing is going your way, it's not because you're being punished. It's not because you're unlucky. It's not because you're not worthy of success. It's because you're being prepared for something bigger than your current vision can comprehend. Think about this deeply for a moment. Every single person who has ever achieved greatness has first faced their own version of nothing going their way. They've all stood where you're standing right now. They've all felt what you're feeling. The only difference between those who break through and those who give up is their interpretation of what these moments mean. When you're in the middle of chaos, when every door seems to close in your face, when every effort seems to lead to another dead end, you have a choice to make. You can either see these moments as evidence of your limitations, or you can see them as invitations to discover your true potential. I want to share a profound truth with you. And your current struggles are not your identity. They're your opportunity. They're not your destiny. They're your training ground. Every time you feel like nothing is going your way, you're actually being given a chance to prove to yourself just how resourceful, how resilient, and how remarkable you really are. But let's get practical for a moment. When nothing is going your way, there are specific steps you can take to shift your reality. First, you need to understand that your perception shapes your reality. If you believe nothing will ever work out for you, guess what? Your brain will find evidence to support that belief. It's called confirmation bias, and it's one of the most powerful forces shaping your experience of life. Instead of focusing on what's not working, start asking yourself better questions. Don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can I use this? Don't ask, what's wrong with my life? Ask, what's right about this situation that I'm not seeing yet? Don't ask, why can't I catch a break? Ask, what strength am I developing through this challenge? You see, the quality of your life isn't determined by how many times you get knocked down. It's determined by how many times you get back up, what you learn in the process, and how you use those lessons to create something better than before. When nothing is going your way, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. You look at others who seem to have it all together, who seem to be succeeding effortlessly, and you wonder what's wrong with you. But here's what you need to understand. You're not seeing their whole story. You're seeing their highlight reel while living your behind-the-scenes footage. Every single person you admire, every success story that inspires you, every achievement that seems impossible right now. They all started with moments of doubt, moments of despair, moments when nothing seemed to be going their way. The difference is, they didn't let those moments define them. They let those moments refine them. Yes, they're a crucial understanding. When nothing is going your way, it's often because you're trying to control things that are beyond your control. You're expending precious energy fighting against reality instead of using that energy to create new possibility. Your attitude, your effort, your responses, your growth, your learning, your adaptability. When you shift your focus from what's happening to you to what's happening within you, everything changes. Your problems don't disappear, but your power to handle them expands dramatically. Think about a time in your past when nothing was going your way. Remember how overwhelming it felt? Remember how permanent it seemed? And yet, here you are. You survived. You learned, you grew. That situation that once seemed impossible to handle is now a story of your resilience. But there's something even more powerful at work here. When nothing is going your way, it's often life's way of creating space for something better. It's like clearing out an old, cluttered room to make space for new furniture. The process might be uncomfortable, even painful, but it's necessary for the upgrade that's coming. I want you to really hear this. Your current circumstances are temporary, but the strength you're building is permanent. The skills you're developing, the wisdom you're gaining, the resilience you're cultivating, these are assets that will serve you for the rest of your life. When nothing is going your way, that's precisely when you need to double down on your commitment to growth. That's when you need to invest more in your personal development, not less. That's when you need to surround yourself with people who believe in you, especially when you're struggling to believe in yourself. You see, adversity doesn't just test us. It reveals us. It shows us what we're really made of. It exposes our true character. And in those moments when nothing is going your way, you have the opportunity to discover strengths you never knew you had, to develop capabilities you never knew you could possess. Let me share something powerful with you, too. It is the darkest hours just before dawn. When nothing is going your way, when you feel completely overwhelmed, when it seems like every path forward is blocked, that's often the moment right before your breakthrough. But most people quit right there. They give up at the very moment when they're about to break through. You see, success is not a straight line. It's not a smooth, steady climb to the top. Success is messy. It's chaotic. It's filled with moments when nothing seems to be going your way. But these moments aren't obstacles to your success. They're actually essential parts of your success story. Think about how a butterfly emerges from its chrysalis. If you were to help it by cutting open the chrysalis, thinking you're being kind, you'd actually be condemning that butterfly to death. Why? Because it's the struggle of breaking free that forces fluid into its wings, making them strong enough for flight. The struggle isn't just part of the process. It is the process. Your current struggles, these moments when nothing seems to be going your way, are serving the same purpose. They're strengthening you. They're preparing you. They're forcing you to develop capabilities you'll need for your next level of success. But here's what most people don't understand. When nothing is going your way, that's actually life's way of creating space for something better. It's like the universe is clearing your plate of what's not meant for you to make room for what is. The problem is we get so attached to our plans, to our vision of how things should be, that we resist this clearing process. We need to understand something fundamental about life. Everything is either a blessing or a lesson. When things are going your way, you're being blessed. When things aren't going your way, you're being taught. But both are equally valuable. Both are equally necessary for your growth. Let me tell you something that might change your entire perspective on difficult times. Your struggles aren't happening to you. They're happening for you. Every closed door, every rejection, every setback, they're all redirecting you towards something. But you have to trust the process. You have to maintain your integrity when it would be easier to compromise. You have to keep showing up when it would be easier to give up. Here's the truth that might be hard to hear. Sometimes, when nothing is going your way, it's because you're still operating from an old version of yourself. You're trying to solve new problems with old thinking. You're trying to create a new future while holding on to old limitations. The key is to understand that transformation isn't comfortable. Growth isn't comfortable. Evolution isn't comfortable. If you're feeling uncomfortable right now, if nothing seems to be going your way, congratulations. You're probably on the verge of a breakthrough. But let's get practical. When nothing is going your way, you need a system, a strategy to keep moving forward. First, you need to accept where you are right now. Not resign yourself to it, but accept it as your current reality. Because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Second, you need to separate facts from interpretations. The fact might be that you failed at something. The interpretation is that you're a failure. The fact might be that something didn't work out. The interpretation is that nothing ever works out for you. See the difference? Facts are neutral. It's our interpretations that cause our suffering. Third, you need to focus on progress, not perfection. When nothing is going your way, it's easy to get overwhelmed by how far you have to go. Instead, Focus on just taking one step forward, just one, then another, then another. Remember, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. Fourth, you need to understand that your struggles are developing your character. They're building your resilience. They're expanding your capacity for success. Every time you face a challenge and don't give up, you're becoming stronger. Every time you face fear and move forward anyway, you're becoming braver. Your past struggles have prepared you for this moment. Every difficulty you've overcome, every obstacle you've navigated, every moment when nothing was going your way, they've all contributed to making you who you are right now. And who you are right now is someone who's capable of handling whatever comes next. But you have to stay in the game. You have to keep showing up. You have to maintain your vision even when you can't see how it's going to manifest. Because here's the truth. The only way to fail permanently is to stop trying permanently. When nothing is going your way, that's when you need your vision the most. That's when you need to hold on to your dreams the tightest. That's when you need to remember why you started in the first place. Your vision isn't just about what you want to achieve. It's about who you need to become to achieve it. Think about this. Every single success story includes chapters of struggle. Every single achievement includes moments of doubt. Every single victory includes times when nothing seemed to be going right. These aren't deviations from the path to success. They're the path to success. As we come to this final moment together, I want you to really hear this truth. Your current situation is not your final destination. The fact that nothing seems to be going your way right now doesn't mean nothing will ever go your way again. This is just a chapter in your story, not the whole book. You see, there's something magical that happens when you refuse to give up, when you keep moving forward, even when everything seems to be pushing you back. You develop a kind of strength that can never be taken away from you. You develop a resilience that becomes the foundation for every future success. Think about the strongest people you know, the most resilient, the most successful. Do you think they got there because everything always went their way? No. They got there precisely because they learned how to handle it when nothing went their way. They learned how to turn obstacles into opportunities. They learned how to transform setbacks. Here's what I want you to understand deeply. Your capacity to handle difficulty is far greater than you imagine. Your ability to bounce back is far stronger than you believe. Your potential for growth is far bigger than you can see right now. But you can only access these powers when you're willing to stay in the game, especially when nothing seems to be going your way. The same when that extinguishes a candle ignites a fire. The difference isn't in the wind. It's in what it's acting upon, your challenges, your difficulties, these moments when nothing seems to be going your way. They're like that wind. They'll either extinguish you or ignite you. The difference isn't in the challenges, it's in you. When nothing is going your way, that's when you need to dig deepest into your reserves of courage. That's when you need to remember who you really are. That's when you need to remind yourself of your innate power to choose your response to any situation. You see, life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. Every experience, every challenge, every moment when nothing seems to be going your way. They're all opportunities for growth, for learning, for becoming more than you were before. The Tower in me, you have to stay awake to the lessons. You have to stay open to the growth. You have to stay committed to your vision, even when you can't see how it's going to manifest. Because the truth is, your breakthrough is often just on the other side of your breaking point. Think about water again for a moment. When water meets an obstacle, it doesn't stop flowing. It doesn't give up. It doesn't complain about the unfairness of the obstacle. It simply finds another way. It goes over, under, around, and in doing so, it doesn't lose any of its essential nature. In fact, it often becomes more powerful because of the resistance it encounters. You have that same power within you. When nothing is going your way, you have the same ability to adapt, to flow, to find new paths. But first, you have to believe in your own resilience. You have to trust in your own capacity to overcome. You have to maintain faith in your own ability to find a way forward. Every single time in your life when nothing was going your way, you survived. Not only did you survive, but you grew stronger. You became wiser. You developed new capabilities. Even if you didn't realize it at the time, those difficulties were preparing you for this moment right now. Your struggles aren't your identity. They're your training ground. Your setbacks aren't your destiny. They're your setup for something better. Your challenges aren't your life sentence. They're your life lessons. But you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to keep moving forward, especially when nothing seems to be going your way. The darkest part of the night comes right before dawn. The hardest part of the battle comes right before victory. The most intense part of the storm comes right before the calm. When nothing is going your way, you might be closer to your breakthrough than you think. The breakthrough won't come from external circumstances changing. It will come from you changing. It will come from you growing. It will come from you becoming the person who can handle whatever life throws your way. As we close our time together, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Commit to staying in the game, especially when nothing seems to be going your way. Commit to learning from your challenges instead of being defeated by them. Commit to growing through your difficulties instead of just going through them. When nothing is going your way, that's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your comeback. That's not your defeat. It's your opportunity. That's not your breakdown. It's your breakthrough in disguise. You are stronger than you know. You are more resilient than you believe. You are more capable than you imagine. And no matter what's not going your way right now, you have the power within you to create a new way forward. Life's greatest victories don't go to those who never face difficulty. They go to those who face difficulty and keep moving forward anyway. They go to those who get knocked down 7 times and get up 8. They go to those who understand that when nothing is going their way, that's precisely when they need to create their own way. Your future is not determined by your current circumstances. Your destiny is not defined by your current difficulties. Your potential is not limited by your present problems. You have within you everything you need to overcome, to succeed, to thrive. Not despite your challenges, but because of them. Stand tall, stay strong, keep moving forward. Your breakthrough is coming. And when it does, you'll understand why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. Trust the process. Trust your journey. Most importantly, trust yourself. Because when nothing is going your way, that's often life's way of leading you to something better than you could have imagined. Thank you for sharing this journey with me today. Now go out there and create your comeback story. The world is waiting for it.